So you mentioned coins and having sort of collectibles. Do you find that is to help people not disengage from the learning, or having sort of like a reward system?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got, it is a game, and a game where it can be quite dry and quite dull. It doesn't have to be fun, although it does help if it has got something along those lines, but it does usually need a structure to be able to actually have it. Where's your beginning in A, where's your hooks? And if you've got a story, you want to know how are you doing. So you can put a score in there, which you quite commonly see in that side. With regards to the coins, etc., it's okay, I've got a score, but how do I know if I'm doing really well? And if you get like commandant's coin, it means you've got like the policy perfect answer. That's it, spot on. That's what, as an organisation, we're looking for you to be able to do. Well done. We are trying to recognise you got that perfect. But at the same time, with regards to the way that we're actually doing this as a model, we didn't do it in the sense where you were talking about it's A, it's B, it's 1, 2, 3. We're actually setting it in a way where it doesn't matter if you were to go through that side. We'll make it very clear. The decisions you make in your story that you're coming through, in the case of Sandhurst, they go to a breakout group and they go to a workshop. They talk through their decisions. You could have a decision that could be technically correct, but then morally, I felt that this is the right answer. And what we're looking for people to do is actually talk through that and consider it.
So was it a consideration then when you were, I imagine you changed with client to client, but you knew they would go into their breakout groups. So was it, we're going to target or angle the sort of questions or the sections to, right, this is going to be a good conversational piece? Or if they weren't going to go into their breakout sessions, would that change then the sort of questions or questionscape that you'd actually ask them? If there's not going to be a conversation afterwards, would it then change how you're going to bring a point across?
Good question. But to be honest, is you said it earlier, we work with the client. So in the case of what this did, we had a series of subject matter experts that had skin in the game, lived experience of a lot of this. And what we were doing was listening to what they were actually saying, what their stories they were telling. But we were also working with the legal. We were talking with the military police. We were talking with the in the case of they were playing as a second lieutenant, we were talking to a second lieutenant who was actually doing the role, and how would they do it, and what would come of it, and what have they seen this, and what would the consequences be, and what would come next, and what would come before, and what policies could they look into, and how can we support them as a learner. So we've even built it so they've got an inventory there they can look at the policies and check before they answer, because it's not a trap. It's a game model to give that missing element a lot of the time of what you'll actually find, where people can learn something that they want to actually try and do, but they haven't got the real lived experience of being able to do it. So it's that missing part of when the moment matters, have you got any skin in the game? Now, you can't beat physically having to do that and actually being there and having that lived experience to be able to have it. But that can have really harsh consequences sometimes, or you can have trauma that comes about from it, or you can have so many different factors to consider. You don't want to put people into those environments. And also, if you're going to do it in a face-to-face kind of environment, you've got to get that same person, that same crew, you've got to take them into that kind of area. You've got to hope that the person that's training has got the same energy that they had the last time that they delivered it, however many times. And also, how do you scale that? It's fine if you've got a small team of 6 or 7, but what if you've got 100, 1,000, 1,000,000? How do you look at scaling that training right across? How do you look at it from a global perspective? If you want to do it in English, if you want to do it in Spanish, if you want to do it in Arabic, or whatever language it comes through. So we designed it as a model where we're listening in to what they want. And with those kind of scores and with those kind of elements, and that we're giving that believability.
That was a clip from the Briefing Room podcast. And if you liked what you saw, then you can always watch more in the full podcast episode, which is right here. You can click whenever you want. I'll just wait. Go ahead, click.